Namaste, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us again in this week. Welcome to the Spiritual Talks, another session. We're reading the Universal and Kabbalistic Meditations on the Lord's Prayer by Master Choa Kok Sui. Let's show it. Thank you. This is the new book. You guys can get it at your local pranic healing center. If not, you can order it from Amazon. But if you can support your local pranic healing center, it'll be awesome. So last week we started with chapter 1. So we just read a little bit. You guys got, all you guys got the book. So just ask you to read chapter 1. We'll just talk about it. If you have any questions, we'll cover them. And this is a really cool book. I know it looks like there's some stuff that looks like the previous book that we read, the Spiritual Essence of Man, the Chakras, and the Inverted Tree of Life, also by Master Choa Kok Sui. You guys can check the other videos if you haven't. It's really cool. And that book has a lot of information, but this book, even though it also covers the Tree of Life, excuse me, and the Sephiroth and all that, it's not exactly the same. You may have done the meditation with the CD from Master Choa. It still doesn't say everything that, when you're going through it, yes, but in the previous section for like the preparation, it says things that are very special and that are different, from the previous book that we read, that you can really only find here. Excuse me. Anyway, so let's just do a quick invocation and we can start. All right. My name is Leo, by the way. For those that don't know me. Anyway, let's just do a quick invocation before we start our session. To the Divine Supreme and Absolute God, to my spiritual teacher, to all the spiritual teachers, holy angels, holy masters, to all the divine hierarchy, to all the saints, to all the holy gurus, to the divine hierarchy of all the divine holy angels and archangels and all the great ones, we humbly invoke for your divine guidance, for your divine love, for your illumination, divine oneness, divine help, your divine presence, and your divine protection. For the priceless teachings, the priceless blessings, we humbly thank you. Thank you. Okay, so shall we? So let's go to page 7. That's where we got to last time. Okay, so page 7, that is activating chakras and awakening the Kundalini, correct? All right, so, what is interesting here? So, in this section, right, this is chapter 1. In this section, the author talks about, what's happening in this book. And it's really interesting because it says the Universal and the Kabbalistic Meditations in the Lord's Prayer, right? What do? They correlate. That word is very, very important. That's exactly what the author is doing. Correlation is super important in the spiritual path. To understand teachings from different schools of thought, from different traditions, so that you can understand the true nature, the true teaching, you need to correlate. And that's exactly what the author is doing. Master Choa Kok Sui here, he correlates, he's saying that the universal meditation, right, on the Lord's Prayer correlates each, right, each of the phrase, like our Father, right, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. So each phrase of the Lord's Prayer, it correlates it to what? To a chakra, yes, to one of the 11 chakras in the 11 chakra system that comes from Master Choa Kok Sui, right? Again, those that do not know who Master Choa Kok Sui, he is the modern founder of pranic healing and arhatic yoga. We're covering his books in the first section, right, of the spiritual talks. We're gonna do many other books, many esoteric books, metaphysical books from different authors as well. But I like to start with him because, well, first of all, he's my spiritual teacher, but also he has the special gift, and he's well known for synthesizing, right, very obtuse concepts, very difficult concepts to grasp. And he makes it really easy to understand. So you don't have to sometimes break your head trying to understand something, read it 20,000 times. All his books are like in 5th grade English. It's really easy, really special, and you get it really fast. So you get a lot of teachings, a lot of great concepts in, very simply. Now, why do we do this? Because if they're so simple, why do we cover them? Because they have a lot of information. In between the lines, there's so much, right? So that's why we do this. So, okay, so he's saying that the universal meditation. So in this book, like we said last week, there's universal meditation on the Lord's Prayer and the Kabbalistic meditation on the Lord's Prayer. The universal meditation correlates each phrase of the Lord's Prayer, right, with the chakras, and the Kabbalistic meditation correlates each phrase with the Sephiroth. It's the same, right? Chakra, Sephiroth, it's just the same. It's just a different name, right? Different language. One from the one in Hebrew, the other one in Sanskrit. So, but they are talking about the same thing, which for many years we did not know that this was the case. It was probably only known to very few, high-level Kabbalists. Okay, so then he continues by saying that the meditation on the Lord's Prayer is a system. Again, we covered this last week, but I really want to drive this home. It's a system, right? And what is a system? Is a conjunction of parts, right, of units, so that, and they are working for a single purpose. Okay, even you have different systems. You have the digestive system, the respiratory system, and even all of those systems work together for the running of the body, for the good health of the body, right? So, but you have you have many systems, but this is a system for what? For enlightenment. And he says in this system, if you do these meditations, right, the universal or the Kabbalistic, it doesn't matter. It's basically the same. All it changes is that one calls it Sephiroth, the other one calls it Chakras, one calls it Keter, the other one calls it Crown. That's that. But what does Keter mean in Hebrew? Crown. So, whatever. Anyway, so this meditation on the Lord's Prayer, right, it says that system, it cleans, it energizes, and it activates the chakras or the Sephiroth in the body. Now, why is this important? Because in one single meditation, your chakras become clean. On top of that, they are energized. But just because they are clean and energized doesn't mean they're activated. What does it mean by activate? What does activating mean? Turn on, right? Whatever that chakra, is responsible for in high drive, right? It's like putting it in high drive. Good. It actually it activates that chakra to the function of the chakra. Now, but at different levels. What is the function of the heart chakra? Just right. Let's say at physical level. There are many levels of truth, right? So these chakras have to do with, the chakras are actually, they're physical and emotional and mental, right? So they're at many levels. They have functions. They're multi-dimensional functions, or multi-level functions. Yeah. So the heart chakra, the physical level, is what is its job, or primarily, it has to do with the heart, right? The physical heart.
And the lungs too, no?
partially, right? The back heart chakra, yes, has to do with the lungs, and also with the thymus gland, right? So it activates the thymus gland. It is responsible for the good working of the heart, partially for the lungs, and the back heart chakra for the lungs. Yes. So it's one chakra anyway, front and back. So, and that's at the physical level. So it activates the chakra. Okay, so makes it so that everything functions properly. It also cleanses it, energizes it, and that helps, right, at the physical level. But also at the emotional level, what does it do? It is the center of personal love. So when it activates a chakra, you already start feeling love. You have, and then the thoughts, psychologically, you start feeling well. You have good thoughts. You understand? So who likes to have good thoughts? Who would like to have just good thoughts throughout the day? To feel in a good place, in love, right? In a place of love. Where there is love, there is no fear. Cannot exist together. At the same time, by just activating the heart center, you're already activating the crown center. By activating the crown center, this entry point of spiritual energy into the body is the basis of Twin Hearts meditation, right? To achieve enlightenment. Since ancient times, people have done everything they can to activate the crown, where all they had to do, according to Master Choa, and then those that practice the meditation on Twin Hearts, if you haven't tried it, please do. You can go and get it anywhere. Support your prana healing, your local prana healing center. You know, to go pranahealing.com, pranahealingusa.com. They have, you can also do the meditation from there. Test it, try it in YouTube. But I recommend you buy the CD if you like it, and definitely do it. It's a very special meditation, also known as the Illumination Technique. Simple. It's a meditation for service and advanced meditation, and it's really, really special. Really, really a great gift. It helps you grow spiritually super quick. You want to grow spiritually? Do meditation on Twin Hearts every day. Once a day. Don't go crazy. Everything in moderation. And moderation in moderation. So, anyway, but it's basically, but the basis is to activate the heart center, which is the center for personal love, which automatically activates the crown center, which is the center for universal love. That's why all the saints, all the highest spiritual beings, they love all beings. And that's why they have all of them have a halo. That's a sign for an activated crown center. And they love all beings. They're very wise. All these other things that have to do with the crown. But how do you activate the crown? By activating the heart center. First, how can you feel universal love if you don't first feel personal love? Right? It sounds simple, but for many, many years, this was a hidden secret. Again, where I was saying about Master Choa. Easy. Spoon feeding. But before I found Master Choa and his books, I studied for 7 years. Very hard. I did a lot of different things. Didn't put those two together. When it's explained to you easily like this, then it makes sense. Oh, that's so simple. So simple when you know it. But if you don't know it, it's not that simple. Because the correlation, what we were talking before, sometimes those simple things are not seen. They can be staring you in the face, but you may not see them. So that was the truth for many thousands of years. The meditation on 20 hearts or the illumination technique was only shared with certain chelas or very advanced adepts or practitioners, initiates, in ancient times. Now it's shared with the public. So if you can, I'm not pitching. I'm not selling them. I'm not. I don't get anything. I don't make anything by it. But it's really special meditation. Anyway, To continue, so it cleans and energizes and activates. So activating the chakras is very important. It enhances what the chakra does, not only at the physical level, but at the emotional, mental, energetic, and spiritual levels. And this is huge, right? So it does everything at this, just one meditation is doing all these things. What else does it do? And it awakens, right? According to the author in page 7, right? It awakens the Kundalini or the serpent fire. Why is this important? Right? Near the base of the spine, the author says that it awakens the Kundalini of the serpent fire. Why is this important? What's the purpose of the Kundalini energy, right? According to the author in this page, it says is to accelerate, the spiritual growth, spiritual development. So if you want to accelerate your spiritual development, right, you have to awaken the Kundalini energy near the base of the spine. Without that, the development will not be, your spiritual development will not be fast. It's just not going to happen because this is needed for spiritual development. Now, this is something important, right? Something very, very important. And this is something that is not in the other books. That is here. This is what I mean why this book is very important. And this piece of information is gold. This piece of information is what? Gold. Very important. Right? So it says, when the fiery serpent is down, in the basic, right, it's not awakened, the person is spiritually dead, almost animalistic. Clear? The person is spiritually dead, almost animalistic. When the fiery serpent is substantially, keyword substantially, upraised, noble qualities, right, of the person are developed. They can experience illumination. What is more, they can experience expansion of consciousness. So what do we learn from this? If the Kundalini energy or the serpent fire is not upraised, right, or not substantially awakened to a certain degree, noble qualities will not be able to be developed. And then the person will not be able to experience expansion of consciousness or illumination. So when people have a hard time with this, what do you need to do is you need to awaken the Kundalini energy, substantially awaken it. Just to know that is very important. If not, you keep trying to beat your head in, trying to do something. And it's okay to know, I need more work, more practice, whatever. How do I do that? You can do the meditation in the Lord's Prayer. Easy peasy. Just keep doing it. Eventually, it will happen. What else can we know about this? Let's say someone never has meditated in their life, but they have noble qualities. You understand? These people have noble qualities already. They never meditated in their life, but they have noble qualities. They're able to concentrate, and sometimes have specific ideas that come from somewhere, or that. But even if just they have noble qualities, that means that the person is already spiritually awakened, spiritually developed, even somewhat. You understand? But naturally, those people seek to know more or seek the spiritual path. So we cannot just judge somebody whether they meditate a lot or not, whether they are, wearing yoga pants or not, right? So that's important. Now, there, and so he also talks about different symbols, right, of the Kundalini energy. Like when you have a yogi and you have you see in some yoga books about a yogi meditating, sitting down, and you have a cobra behind them, or that's symbolizing the Kundalini energy, or Lord Vishnu sleeping on a 10,000 headed cobra, right? That's also Kundalini energy, or cosmic Kundalini energy. The fire serpent, he talks about the staff that Moses, picks, rises from the ground in Numbers. That's a manifestation of the fiery serpent, right? So, and that's in the fiery serpent staff that Moses picked up is in Numbers. He says it there, 29, 8 and 9. Chapter 29, verses 8 and 9, and John 3:14. And also, he also talks about in many paintings of the Egyptians, they have upraised serpents, symbol of Kundalini energy. And, in the pharaohs, the headgear, the little cobra there is Kundalini energy. So this is why is it always there? Because it's super, super important for spiritual development. The question is, why did all these ancient civilizations considered Kundalini energy so important, or had it as made in symbols everywhere? All these kings, all these pharaohs, all these different, even Moses that wrote the Pentateuch, or the first 5 books of the Bible, or at least they're attributed to him, or sorry, of the Bible, of the Torah, right? Why? Why did everybody put so much effort in symbology about the Kundalini energy? They must have known something that we do not. Because it's in every civilization back in the day, in ancient times. So could you imagine that all these great civilizations had this? If they put emphasis in the Kundalini energy, or the dragons in China and all that stuff, the dragon serpents, right, in China, they also manifest as Kundalini energy, right? They breathe fire. They are like, they are like water at the same time. And what is it pointing at? It's pointing at spiritual development. So they hold in very high regard spiritual development, noble qualities, virtue. And how do you achieve that? By awakening the Kundalini energy. So imagine world leaders of nations, making sure that this is represented, that this symbology is there. Because spiritual development was serious business. It was very important to those civilizations. All right. Anyway, so on page 8, right, it starts, right, the author starts talking about the different phrases, right? So the first one is, our Father. Now, do you guys know where this is, where this prayer comes from? The Bible, yes. So in Matthew, you'll see it in Matthew there, and Jesus teaching it to the apostles, right? Our Father, the Lord's Prayer. Now, did Jesus come up with it? I don't know. But there's definitely Kabbalistic connotations in this prayer, right? And this is how we know about it. It's in no other Kabbalistic work that I know of, but there are definitely connotations, Kabbalistic connotations, as we will see as in this book, and as we saw in the previous book. So it says, Our Father, right? Now, when we say Our Father, the author says God is not only male, right? Right? It's yin and yang, so it's male, female, or yang and yin, right? Male, female, or female, male. And Master Choa talks about this in Genesis 1:27, it says that God created man in his own image. And then it says male and female. So it's more like there's some stuff in between, but it says God created man in his own image, male and female created he them, right? But is that whole part about in his own image, because the soul has, doesn't have any gender, and it says, what is it important about our Father? The important thing about our Father is to understand and remember your true nature. Who are you? Like in Alice in Wonderland in the book, throughout the entire book, all Alice is asked is, who are you? And all she says is, I'm Alice, I'm a girl from England, I'm this, I'm that, and all the answers are wrong. Because when throughout the book, it's an esoteric story, you see the change. But you're not the body. You're not the thoughts. You're not the emotions. You're not the mind. You are the soul. That's what Master Choa talks about that. He said, remember who you are. When you see Our Father, it has nothing to do with being father. It could be our mother. It doesn't matter. It's about that you are not. If the Father is, right, at the Divine Supreme Being, and you are a child of God, and you were made in His own image, then you are not the body. And so he says, remember and understand your true nature. That's the whole point about that phrase, Our Father. It says you are a spiritual being. You're the Christ in you, the Buddha or Krishna in you. Not the body and not the thoughts or emotions. Now, this is something very important. What are the thoughts and emotions? Who creates the thoughts and emotions? You. The thoughts and the emotions are created by you. So Master Choa says, the carpenter, right, it's not the furniture produced by him or by her. The furniture produced by the carpenter is not the carpenter. Imagine the carpenter believes it's a sofa. This makes no sense. So you're not sad. Your emotional body is sad. You're not the furniture. Sadness, emotions, and thoughts are created by you. So, and you're not even the mind. Right? The mind is a subtle instrument of the soul. Just like the computer is a physical instrument of the computer user, the mind is a subtle instrument of the soul, of you. Now, I do like something that The Master Choa says here, when he says this, he says, the mind is a subtle instrument used by the real you, right? By the soul. But it says, do not make the mistake of identifying yourself as the mind or as the computer. Do not make the mistake. Remember who you truly are and where you come from. That's what he says, right? You are a divine essence within you. The divine essence within you is who you are, truly are, yes. And then he says you're a child of God forever. You are forever connected with God. You're one with God, you're one with all. If you're one with God, you are one with all, because God is omnipresent, right? It's in everything. So, now when you focus on the crown when meditating on the phrase of Our Father, right? The crown becomes activated. When we're talking about that it also activates the chakra, by focusing on the crown when you are meditating on that phrase, Our Father, the crown chakra becomes activated. Now, this causes a great downpour of spiritual energy into the body, into the energy and the physical bodies. Tremendous downpour of spiritual energy. And then something that is very important, the crown is what? The entry point of spiritual energy into the body, yes? But what else? It is also the center for soul realization. And this is also not in the previous book, and this is also a great jewel of information. What's coming up is that the crown chakra enables you to physically experience your divine nature. And the divinity in all. So the crown chakra is what allows you to physically experience your divine nature, the divinity in all, and divine oneness. That is huge. To understand that is because of the crown that you are able to physically experience divine oneness, that you are physically able to experience the divinity in all, and it is because of the crown that you are physically enabled to experience your divine nature. It's huge. You should thank your crown every time you can. Why is this important? Because if you don't know, just think it just happens. But it's not because of the mini chakra in your finger or in your toe that this happens. It's because of the crown chakra. It's not because of the soul chakra, not because of the heart chakra, not because of the ajna or the forehead. It's because of the crown chakra this happens. To physically experience that. Without the crown chakra, you will not be able to physically experience oneness. You can experience oneness at all the levels, but not physically. So very important. So thank you, crown chakra. All right, moving on. It says, who art in heaven? All right. Now, what is heaven? We said that's from the previous book. Heaven is the inner world. Yes. The spiritual world, right? Now, something that is not in the previous book is the following, right? That's why it's a different book. There's different types of information, but it depends what we already covered. So it says just as you prepare to be in the physical world, right? Just like what is the word he uses? To function properly. What does it mean to function properly? Just as you prepare to function properly in the physical world, right? In the sense that you have to prepare yourself by going to school, you prepare yourself by learning skills or trades, you prepare yourself by doing many things to be able to function in the physical world. You prepare yourself since you're a kid, right? Learn social skills and habits and all that. The same happens if you want to, for you to be in the inner world. The same thing has to happen. You have to prepare yourself to function properly in the inner world. You want to be in the inner world, you need to prepare yourself to function properly in the inner world. Therefore, so how do you prepare yourself? Number one, and this is given to you in that chapter, in page 9, is it right? Okay. And it says, number one, you need to regulate your thoughts and your emotions. Super important. Why is this important in the inner world? I'm sorry, I can't.
We attract what we are.
We attract what?
What we are.
Yes. Also, you have to understand, when you think, you create it. Or you think of a place, you go there. With all the uncontrolled thoughts and emotions, could you imagine? How many thoughts and emotions do you have throughout the day? Like spiking constantly. You'll be all over the place. You'll be in not so good places sometimes. So it's super important to first learn to regulate your thoughts and your emotions. It can become dangerous if you don't. So regulate your thoughts and your emotions so that you can actually even be and exist in one place for an extended period of time. And many other reasons why. To create, to really do things, you can focus. You can regulate the energy that is being inputted into something. Right? To create thought forms, to many things. To just be. So it's super important, regulate thoughts and emotions. Before you go into the inner world, learn to do that. Develop virtues, number 2. Why? The answer is in Sleeping Beauty, in the book Sleeping Beauty. Shield of Virtue. Also, you yourself are virtue. So, just like there is a Trinity, right? Father, Son, Holy Spirit, since we're talking about the Lord's Prayer, or Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, or in every tradition has it's basically ray 1, ray 2, ray 3, right? Divine will or divine power or willpower. Ray 2, divine love. Ray 3, divine intelligence, active intelligence, actually, right? So, right, the Father is divine will, divine willpower. Let there be light, and so there was light, right? So there is the will. You can have all the money in the world, all the desire in the world to do something, but if there's no willpower to get it done, it's not going to get done. Doesn't matter how much money you have, how much of whatever you have. Yeah, we can have all the power in the universe. You don't have the will to use it. It's not going to get used. So the only real power is willpower. With willpower, you can achieve the impossible. So virtues of constancy of aim and effort and non-laziness, right? Industriousness comes from the ray 1, from willpower. So since we learned in the previous book, right? We are like a threefold being, right? So you're, above the tree of life, you have the, the Ein Sof and Ein Sof Ur, or the spirit, or the divine spark, also known as the monad. Then you have the higher soul, or the soul in the Christian tradition, right? And or Ein Sof, right? The limitless source of what? Of light, right? So, and then you have Ein Sof Ur, and then that's limitless light, infinite light, or the Holy Spirit, or divine intelligence, whatever you, depending on what tradition you're looking at, right? Or the incarnated soul. So it is important to understand that the virtues come from these three rays, right? So from the ray of power, you have moderation and non-excessiveness. Moderation is achieved through willpower. Constancy of aim and effort, constancy of aim and of effort and non-laziness comes from willpower, the willpower to get it done. Be industrious, not be lazy, be moderate, don't be excessive. That's willpower, right? So then you have the other ones of love, which is generosity and non-stealing. Share, give. That's love. And the other one is loving kindness and non-injury. Do not injure physically, do not injure emotionally, do not injure by words, with thoughts, or mentally. Do not injure energetically, do not injure spiritually. Just, it's about loving kindness and non-injuring. So that's through the ray of love, just like generosity. And then through the ray of intelligence, the last virtue of the five virtues, right, is constancy of aim and effort. Accurate perception and correct expression and non-falsehood. So accurate perception. If you want to express yourself correctly, you need to perceive accurately. So what is accurate perception? That we're not the body, we're the soul. We're not the emotions, we're not the thoughts, we're not the mind. We are the soul, we are divine being. That's accurate perception. Correct expression, if your body is hungry, then the body is hungry, not you are not hungry. The soul doesn't get hungry. But we say, I'm hungry, because we are identifying with the body. But if we do not make the mistake of identifying with the body, then we say the body is hungry. Even though it may sound weird because we don't hear it all the time, that is accurate perception. And that is non-falsehood, right? So, but it could be many different levels, many different ways to perceive yourself accurately, right? And you express yourself correctly. And that way, you don't allow the people to misunderstand you or to misunderstand something. You paint an accurate picture. Like Shana was saying today, right, about facts. Sometimes the news may give sensationalism or whatever, and we just want the facts. If there's something official from the, from that we're getting an official news or something that is a new law or something, we want the facts. We don't need to know, you know, who's pro this or who's against that, or one side or the other, or politics. This, what are the facts? This is the fact. Okay, cool. Because if not, you may lead people astray, or we may paint a picture that might not be completely true. It might be only from a point of view. But the truth is from different points of view. You know, so if I show you my hand, you're gonna see my nails, but from my vantage point, I don't see nails. So if you tell me, oh no, a hand has nails, I'll say, no, a hand doesn't have nails. You're wrong. Or if we go like this, it could be the, you know, opposite. And then unless we all see each other, we see everything, we can talk to each other, then we really can have a greater picture, a true picture of something, a more panoramic picture, accurate perception, correct expression, and non-falsehood. So, and what happens using that analogy? Sometimes when we may lead someone astray, or we may say something, we may lie to somebody, or just say, or paint a picture that we know is not completely true, or whatever, to someone. What we and they believe us. They're believing something that is not real. So we are actually creating a belief in them that is not true. When we do that, right, whatever, as we sow, so shall we reap, right? So as we give, we receive many times over. So what happens is that when we paint a certain picture, even if it's not, even if it may have some truth in it, but it may not be completely true, we're deceiving somebody. That deception creates glamour for the other person. It creates an illusion that is not true. So therefore, sometimes, so then when we seek the truth, it may be there standing in front of you, like we were talking at the beginning of the class, right? And you will not see it. It'll be there standing in front of you, very simple, but you will not see it. Oh, the heart chakra, you know, is personal love. So how can you have universal love if you don't have personal love? Simple. But unless you know it, not that simple, right? So not that easy to see. So the truth might be there in front of you and you will not see it. So that we don't generate that karma, that's why honesty is very important. As long as also, of course, we don't use, Master Choa always says to not use honesty to hurt others, right? You know, to purposely hurt. But to paint a proper picture in a kind, loving way. So virtues are important, so that also we, in the inner world, why to develop virtues? So in the inner world, you see properly. You see the truth. There can be a lot of glamours, a lot of things, so that, and that's only one virtue. So that you're able to move, you know, you can get lost. There are many things that, you know, so this is important. So virtues are important in the inner world. I'm just bringing this back as to why it's important to have virtues in the inner world. That's just one. All the others play a big role in the inner world. Then study and learn the natural laws connected with the inner world. Now there are laws connected to the inner world, and you must study and learn them so that you can function properly in the inner world. Was this in the previous book?
No.
Is this very good information?
Yes, sir.
This is very special.
Where can we learn about the laws of the inner life?
Well, continue coming to the channel, right? No, you have learned already, like from the previous book, from this book, and the different talks. There are many things. Just that one of them is what? As you give, so shall you receive. Might be something that might be simple, might be a cliche to people, but it's super important. Your whole life can be built on that. You want money, give money. You want love, give love. You want help, give help. It's not so simple, because then that means that you have to work, but that's what it is. You have to plant to receive. You have to sow to reap. And at the same time, and that's just one. But basically, the spiritual maxims are that. We're also going to learn more about other things, and there will be books that will cover like the etheric double or the astral plane. It's and its inhabitants and stuff like that, and the solar system and the mental plane and all of that. We're going to the mental body. All of that we're going to cover as well. So those things is what you learn, and there you go. That's how. Yeah. Now, and then of course, what chakra has to do with who art in heaven is the forehead chakra and the back head chakra, right? Located in the back of the head. So the back head chakra, that's a mini chakra, but the forehead and the back head chakra, the forehead chakra also known in the Kabbalistic side as Chokma, right? I'm not pronouncing it well, but I don't speak Hebrew, but that's the best I can do. So Chakma, or the forehead chakra, and the back head chakra. So those, which eventually, and I like that Master Choa uses the word eventually, because if you do the meditation on the Lord's Prayer, right, constantly, eventually, it will grant you access into the inner world, the spiritual world, who art in heaven. And that's just number 2. So let's continue next week. Do you guys have any with this? And hopefully I'll go faster. But this was very important. I wanted to cover these 2 because they had things that to me were very important. And then we'll just cover the rest next week, and also some precautions and cautionary remarks as to when doing this meditation. Who should and should not do this meditation, and what precautions to take when you're going to do this meditation. Serious spiritual study and serious spiritual practice can be dangerous. Is not child's play. It should be taken seriously, and be done responsibly as well. So it's important. So come next week, and we'll cover that. Do you guys have any questions before we close?
Is there the equivalent of that with your chakras, where like there's people that have like just malfunctioning chakras for whatever reason, and that's just like their karma to have to deal with it, like with that? Is that?
I thought you were gonna say like that they don't have a chakra or something. No, yes, actually, yes.
They're missing chakras.
No. If you don't have one chakra, you would die. Like without, it's just the way it is. There's a story, right, and about that, right? Like about there was a person, I think in a prana healing course or something that was saying, I don't remember it very well, but it was something about that someone, he had gone to a shaman, and he took his chakra home to work on it, and then and so the teacher there, the course said, no, look, if he actually took your chakra, you would die, right? So I mean, obviously it's just a way of remote, working remotely, right, with the chakra.
Funny.
But and that's how they, I guess, in that tradition they teach it, and that's fine. But it was just saying, look, the fact is, if someone will remove your chakra, you would die. So it's not gonna happen. I mean, your physical body would die. So no, your chakras are there. They're yours, and they're not gonna go anywhere. No one can take them away or anything like that. It doesn't happen. I mean, you can have you can imagine it, and and then work at home and whatever, but the person still have the chakra. Anyway, but yes, there are malfunctioning chakras. If that's your question, that someone may have a malfunction in a chakra due to karmic reasons, yes, or that may have disabilities or whatever. But yeah, like that can happen, and that's why. And if you're doing healing, you will see that you could do the healing and whatever, and the chakra, you could see that is getting healed, and then it will go back to how it was, fairly, quickly, and so, and you keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and then you see that it's coming back, and you're okay, this is karmic. So the person has to work, change their lifestyle, or actively work to help their situation by and forgiveness and meditation, but also as you give, so shall you receive. So donating, or you tithe, or you donate to whatever is your people that are, to help people that have your same condition. You know what I'm saying? So things like that to help your situation. When it's karmic like that, you gotta do a lot of service, a lot of things. So yeah.
That happens in my throat chakra. I did a
So
video right after.
okay, so well, it could also be your lifestyle, or where you're at. If you smoke, or if you have mold in the house, or whatever, there could be also physical components that are affecting that situation. So if you smoke, and you're like, I'm not saying that you smoke, but I'm saying if you smoke all the time and you have a cigarette, I don't know why my lungs feel, I clean them all the time, but and then I smoke 2 packs. I don't know why I have but I do healing on my lungs all the time. So but if you you need to change your lifestyle also. You understand? It's not just that's gonna change. So your question is, like, from the previous book. In the previous book, there's a section, right, on Keter, the first chapter, right, that how to locate the blue pearl, right? So, and then you have the going from the asana, right, to the back of the head, and then from the tip of your ears, and the intersecting point is where the blue pearl is located, more or less, where the seat of consciousness is located. And so you'll be able to feel, your question is, like, from the previous book. In the previous book, there's a section, right, on Keter, the first chapter, right, that how to locate the blue pearl, right? So, and then you have the going from the asana, right, to the back of the head, and then from the tip of your ears, and the intersecting point is where the blue pearl is located, more or less, where the seat of consciousness is located. And so you'll be able to feel. I am expansion of consciousness. And so but what is the important thing there is not if it is the Bhakya chakra or the Ashana or whatever. The important thing is to locate the blue pearl, locate the seat of consciousness, the permanent seat of consciousness. So to locate that is the purpose of that exercise. So whether it's a little bit above or below, or it's just trying to get the intersecting point, and once you locate it, you'll feel it, right? And you feel one instant peace, right? So that's that. So for the answer to that is you can go to the course, the prana healing course, and they'll tell you how to do that in advance, prana healing. So take basic, then advanced. You can ask a question there, and they'll tell you how to do it. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment, and we'll answer it. Okay, so like and subscribe, all that cool stuff, and help us out, help the channel, so we can bring more videos to you. So we're good. Okay, so let's meet next week. Finish a chapter, and then jot down your questions, and we can cover them next week as well. Now that everybody has a book, okay? Shall we? Let's just do a closing invocation. Give thanks to the Supreme God. We thank you for your great blessings. To my spiritual teacher, all spiritual teachers, holy angels, holy masters, to all the divine hierarchy, to all the saints, holy angels and archangels, we thank you for your divine and priceless blessings, for your divine help, protection, guidance, for your divine presence and your illumination. Thank you for the priceless teachings, for the priceless love, and blessings to all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Ama Namaste. And many blessings to you, your family, and your loved ones. And thank you for coming. See you next week.